So week 1 in the PBA, we started out with a massive win against Root, and this week we are going up against the Mad Titan himself. The Mad Titan would be Vepsis. If you do not know who Vepsis is, his links are down in the description below. Go check him out. He is one of the best Wi-Fi players of all time, in my opinion. On top of Vepsis being absolutely phenomenal at the game, just in general, I've never beaten him. On top of never beating him, he also has an insane core of Pokemon that he can bring to this game. He has the likes of Iron Hands Baxcalibur, combined with an Enamorus, as well as a Goldengo and an Azu. His top 5 are just very, very good versus me. Along with having phenomenal low tier Pokemon in Azelf, Sandaconda, Terra, Revavroom that can Terra into any type, and a pretty good Dark type in Mabosstiff versus me. His other Terra Pokemon, of course, is his Enamorus. The first thing that I wanted to bring is Spectrier. I'm bringing a Choice Scarf Spectrier this week with Shadow Ball, Draining Kiss, Mudshot, and Will-O-Wisp. If I'm able to get this thing in after clicking U-turn with one of my other Pokemon, I can predict the Mabosstiff coming in and click Will-O-Wisp. Once that thing is burned, I have a very good check to this Pokemon that you will see in just a couple of picks. This has enough speed to be able to outspeed +2 Baxcalibur. This also has enough speed to be able to outspeed Shift Gear Revavroom. Shadow Ball is extremely spammable versus my opponent's team, so I just need to chip down the Mabosstiff, and this has a very good chance of winning. Next up, we have Thundurus. Thundurus is going to be an expert belt set this week with Focus Blast, Thunderbolt, Grass Knot, and Psychic. Now, if you guys know anything about me, I hate running Focus Blast, but I pretty much have to this week because otherwise I am setup fodder for Baxcalibur, and Baxcalibur is terrifying versus me. With the combination of Psychic, Grass Knot, and Thunderbolt, this Pokemon hits everything on my opponent's team for unbelievably hard damage outside of the Goldengo, but even that takes about 41%. Next up, we have Hisuian Avalugg making its return after winning us the game last week. This is going to be another FizzDef set, but with a little bit more attack this week, running Recover, Rapid Spin, Terra Blast, and Crunch. This is going to have enough attack investment to be able to KO Goldengo after 2 hits of Stealth Rocks. Along with having Rocky Helmet, I'm able to switch in pretty much indefinitely on things like the Baxcalibur if it's not set up to +2 already, Azumarill, as well as Iron Hands. This is also a pretty good check to Terra Revavroom depending on what they Terra into. This is also going to be one of my main switch-ins to Mabosstiff if I'm not able to get it burned. With 100 attack EVs, I'm able to 2-shot Baxcalibur guaranteed, and I'm able to do a significant chunk of damage to Iron Hands depending on his set. Next up, we have Choice Scarf Cleaver. Choice Scarf Cleaver outspeeds everything on my opponent's team that could likely be scarfed, such as the Goldengo. With Stone Axe, X-Scissor, U-turn, and close combat, I do a ton of damage to everything, and the only thing that stands in this thing's way is going to be the Iron Hands and the Sandaconda. Next up, we have Alolan Muck. This is going to be my main Goldengo and Enamorus check. With Knockoff, Ice Punch, Drain Punch, and Poison Jab, along with the Assault Vest, I'm able to tank hits pretty well from both of those Pokemon, as well as also do some good damage. With the 16 attack EVs, I guaranteed to 2-shot certain things with Knockoff, as well as Drain Punch and Poison Jab. With the 108 into defense, I guaranteed live a superpower into a Play Rough from any Enamorus set. I also live 2 Earth powers from non-Terra Ground Enamorus with my 56 Spadef EVs. Next up, we have Urshifu Rapid Strike. With Surging Strikes, Thunder Punch, U-turn, and close combat, holding the protective pads. The protective pads are there because I want to make sure that if he brings physically defensive Azumarill to check this, I don't take Rocky Helmet chip as I switch out on a U-turn. This Pokemon does great damage to my opponent's entire team with this coverage, except for Iron Hands, which I have a really good switch in with my Hisuian Avalugg. The whole goal of this team is to get U-turn chip on things, bring in Spectrier Cleaver, and clean up. So let's hop over to the battle. I feel like I've had to go through Nom just to get to this point. Okay. What didn't he bring that I was like mildly scared of? Revavroom? Mabosstiff? Your Ghost Resist? Huh? Okay. Wish I was Specs. Whole time point is just to lead off with this thing because I need to get the Terra Fairy going kind of ASAP Rocky. I need to get the Terra Fairy so that way I can live hits from Iron Hand, so I can live hits from Azu and Bax. And then I need to just fire off a single Stone Axe at some point in time to be able to get Stealth Rocks up, and I should be fine. I don't know what his... I think his Iron Hands might be Rocky Helmet. His Azu could be Rocky Helmet. But to be honest with you, Banded Azu just kind of clicks buttons versus me, and it's a little bit scary, so. On solo, perfect. So I get the chip damage off on this thing that I need for my Urshifu to break, for my Cleaver, everything like that. So we will go ahead and we will Terra Fairy, and we are just going to Terra Blast immediately. Heavy Slam does literally nothing to this thing once I have Terra'd. Like, Choice Banded Wild Charge is like the most you can do to me. And that does 37% maximum, whereas Terra Blast always does 37 to 44, so. I'm not two-shot by +2, Wild Charge. I do outspeed him as well, which is weird. That did about 30-ish%. He goes for the Volt Switch, which is cool. Does a good chunk. Volt Switch. I could see Enam coming in. It's probably the biggest threat to this thing. I could see Goldengo coming in. But I do get the very strong Terra Blast off immediately, which is good. If he goes into pretty much any physical threat, I'm good. This is definitely Goldengo. So now what I do is I just go hard into my Alolan Muck, and I just start knocking off items, I think is what I need to do. Sorry, my AC was on. I think once I just start knocking off items, I'm pretty set. If I could get a knockoff on the... He's gonna hard withdraw into what? Sand? Sandaconda. Okay. I'm going to pull the switch right back in because nothing that Sandaconda can do can really hurt me. Like, Earthquake is doing 17%. I can recover up on that pretty easily. Coil. Interesting. Part of me wants to just click Grass Knot against this thing because while this looks good, it's not how I'm going to win the game. And the Grass Knot into Surging Strikes will kill. Even against Spadef. Yeah. So I think I'm just going to do that. Like, he might... I don't think he's going to go for Stone Edge immediately. Goes for another coil, that's fine. So... this does 53% minimum. And then he will kill me, and then I go into my Urshifu. And everything is starting to get chipped in range of Stone Axe. The only thing that's not is the... perfect damage, that's all I needed. Just for a Fire Fang. Okay. That's good. That is good. I can just go for another Grass Knot. He also doesn't have anything that outspeeds this thing, so he's going to have to go into Backs, maybe, to Ice Shard me. Yep. Okay. So, Ice Shard always kills me. And I think I have to fire off a Focus Blast here because if I let him set up a DD, he can sweep me. I'm just going to go for the Focus Blast. I can't risk it. He's going to withdraw. That's good. That's very good. Ed went right back in. Okay. It's fine. This is Goldengo. I don't do enough to Goldengo at this thing, and I really want to keep this around, so I'm going to go hard into this again. And if I can start knocking off items, maybe get a poison on the... Also, I don't know why it looks like it's lagging so bad. There we go. It looks a little bit better. That one frame just looked really bad. He might pull another double. Just for the Shadow Ball, which is cool. So now I do get the knockoff, which is ideal. Do I just go straight for the Ice Punch? No, I just go for the knockoff because it does about the same. For the lefties. Now I'm going to do this. I'm going to play a little bit aggro. Because if he goes for a coil or if he goes for a rest, he's banking on Shed Skin. If he goes for a coil, I kill. Yep, cool. So now... Gets the Shed Skin immediately, which is a little bit less than ideal, but it's still fine. Because this thing is still super strong. I'm going to go right for the Surging Strikes. It's fully Fizdef Ozzy, it's going to take 19 to 23. If it is not... Han Solo, okay. This is okay. 1... 2... So that did nothing. So he's fully Fizdef, isn't he? That did even less than what Fizdef should have. I'm just gonna click U-turn here. And I think what I'm going to do is I think I'm going to go into my cleaver. Right. Yeah. Because I take a close combat, I take a wild charge, he'll take a little bit of recoil damage. If he goes for Thunder Punch, it doesn't do a whole lot. He's rest on this as well. Okay, so he's rest talk, Volt Switch. Wonder what his last move is. I'm going to use this opportunity to get up my my rocks. I want to know what his last move is. Okay, that's fine. I'm going to play a little bit aggressive here and go into my muck. Knock off this thing's leftovers. Because if he gets another bad rest turn, I can knock off this thing's leftovers pretty much for free. If he gets Volt Switch and... Just for body press. Okay, that's not too bad. It still does good damage, but... So he's Volt Switch body press. Man, if I was any other Spectre set, I'd be in a Good position. I want to get the knockoff on this thing. I want to get rid of its leftovers. Can I get the poison, please? Please? Like, the poison would be great. No? Okay, that's cool, too. We're gonna go hard in this because he's revealed Coil, Rest, Fire Fang. I assume last move is Earthquake. And then I think I'm gonna play a little bit aggressive after this. And I think I'm gonna go into my Thundurus, depending on what he goes into. Goes right for the Earthquake. I should tank this pretty easily. Yeah. I think I'm gonna click U-turn here. Because if he stays in, I know for a fact that he's going to either go for another Earthquake or a Coil, which means I can go into my Thundurus. If he goes into the Iron Hands, he'll take rocks into U-turn. I can also just start firing off Shadow Balls. I'm just going to start firing off Shadow Balls. To fully Fizz Death, it does 38 to 44. And like, he only has Volt Switch to damage me. Which does 14 to 17. Yeah, I'm just going to start firing off Shadow Balls. He goes into his Enam and Terra Normals. He's going to have to take 65 to 77. Steve? What is Steve? Okay. Take the Shadow Ball. I kind of have to go into this. Unfortunately. Goes for the crunch. Sick. Takes some Rocky Helmet Chip. Next time it comes in, it dies to a Shadow Ball. So now, what does he switch in to a Terra Blast? Goldengo? I'm going for a Crunch. Does 76 to 90 to Goldengo coming in. And if back stays in, it does 33 to 39, which looks like it's a little bit out of range of that, depending on his bulk. But I think that he will go Goldengo. Ed, yep. Oh, my camera froze again. No, Pepe Sag. Let's see. Almost kills. Perfect. And I get the defense drop, which is kind of sick. He might go for a recover here. Man, if I was Spectria right now, or if I was like Life Orb or something. Jesus, he goes right for the Make It Rain. How much does this do? That does so much damage. Jesus Christ. I'm just going to go right for the Ice Punch in case he tries to switch out of this thing. But, in case he switches out of this and goes into the Snake. Yep. So I get a little bit more chip on this thing. Take some rocks. Cool. Now we go into Urshi. Then we go into this. Because if he rests up and doesn't get Shed Skin, I can Grass Knot into into Psychic. Goes right for the Fire Fang. Less than ideal, but not the worst. Psychic still does 61 to Iron Hands, to Sandaconda. Psychic does 36 to 43 to Fizz Def, but he's definitely Spadef based off of the Grass Knot damage. So I think I just go right for the Grass Knot into the Psychic. Because max HP Iron Hands actually dies to the combination of the two from full. I need to keep this thing around to deal with Iron Hands. Part of me wishes I went into my Urshifu there, but it's okay. We'll go for the Grass Knot. Steve? Okay. He sets up an SD. I do still live a loaded dice hit. Now the Goldengo dies to Terra Blast, so I can spam that very freely. Now knowing that he only has Volt Switch to touch me with his Iron Hands, this also deals with that. I shard, yep. Cool. I'm going to recover to stay healthy. If he goes into his Goldengo, I'm going to sack off my Muck. And then go into my Spectrier and just start hitting things, because everything is super weak. Okay. We're still in the same scenario where I sack off my Muck, but instead of going into Spectrier, I think I go into Cleaver. Yeah, I think I go into Cleaver instead. Man, imagine if I was like Double Dance Spectrier. I think it'd be so good. Let's see if he Terra normals. Could Terra ground. I could see all of those things being possibilities. What does he Terra into? He has heavy duty boots, which is good to know. Terra Fire. I click Stone Axe so freely. Go for the Moonblast, and that kills me. Okay. So he's Terra Fire. Go into this. And I click Stone Axe, right? Or do I click U-turn? Oh, Vepsis, I don't want you to get me. I don't want you to get me, Vepsis, but at the same time, he has such a good switch in Iron Hands to this. Yeah. On solo, perfect. Okay. I just click Shadow Ball, and I claim one. Like, he can stay in and take the Shadow Ball, but it does 38 to 44. And then he Volt Switches out, but then he just loses to this the next time it comes in. If I get the +1 and he goes into Azu... Bandit Aqua Jet does 49 to 59. So he does stay in and takes the Shadow Ball, which is good for me. He's also not max HP based off that damage. Yeah. So what do you go into? If Azu comes in, I might have to Shadow Ball it to prevent the Belly Drum setup sweep. Because if it's banded and it goes for Jet, yeah, this is Azu. Okay. I cannot let this thing Belly Drum up in front of me. As much as this thing is good at sweeping, if he Belly Drums up, I just lose. So I'm going to go for the Shadow Ball. He's going to switch out. Perfect! Perfect! This thing doesn't take two. Yep. Spadef Rose? Huh? What the hell? This still kills, it looks like. Does 39 to 44. I'm going for it. What the hell? That's so unlucky. That is so unlucky. It's funny, but it's unlucky. He's gonna withdraw. He's just gonna keep giving me hits. Steve? Okay, I got the +1. That's one set of priority that he doesn't have now. And I'm at +1. Okay, so Azumarill can't Belly Drum on me anymore. Like, if he goes into Azu right now, he can't Belly Drum on me for free. Choice Banded Aqua Jet does 49 to 59. Max HP takes 63 to 74. So if he has some speed investment, this actually is a roll to kill. But I cannot let him set up. Yep, he goes for liquidation and kills me. It's fine. I could not allow him to set up, but now I know he's banded, right? Well, not necessarily. Not necessarily banded yet. Not necessarily banded yet. He could be like, I don't know, muscle band or something. So that's why I didn't want to go into Cleaver and take an Aqua Jet to the face. U-turn kills this thing guaranteed. Yeah, it does 11% to max HP, so we click U-turn. And now I go into my Thundurus. Because Thundurus actually cleans up the rest of this game. His two forms of priority are gone. Everything is chipped. We know that his Enamorus has heavy duty boots. The only thing that doesn't is Choice Scarfed Goldengo. So I have to figure out what I want to do with against that. If he goes into that right now, it's obviously Choice Scarfed. So if he goes into Goldengo, I sack off Urshifu, go into Cleaver, click U-turn, bring this back in, and sweep. Because he can't switch in on 2 hits of rocks. Yep. So I sack off the Urshifu just in case. In case he is scarfed. Goes for the Shadow Ball. This does kill me. Go into Cleaver, click U-turn. Yep. Go into Cleaver, click U-turn, go into Thundurus, and then sweep with offensive Thundurus. Everything dies. Sandaconda dies to Grass Knot. Iron Hands dies to Psychic. Enamorus dies to Thunderbolt. Go into Thundy. You might think Iron Hands can live a hit because I haven't revealed Psychic yet. So you might go into that first. That's what I'm expecting. He goes Iron Hands, I click Psychic. Yeah. I think Thundurus just sweeps here. I think it does. Outside of any like random shenanigans that Vepsis could have prepped on his end, Thundurus is looking very good here. Yep. You might think he can live any hit except for Psychic, but he doesn't even live that. Go right for the Psychic. Perfect. This thing dies to Thunderbolt. Yep. And then Grass Knot to finish it off. Man, Thundurus is so good. This is such a good Pokemon. I've never understood how people can value it. Like, I saw it in one league at like 14 points, 13 points. This thing is so good. Its speed tier is so good, outspeeding the 110s. It's so powerful, has great coverage. GG's to my opponent. I absolutely adore Vepsis. So if you guys could, do me a favor, go check out his channel. His links will be down in the description below. But with that, we're 2-0 in the PBA, which is lit. But with that, I'm going to go ahead and get on out of here. Thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye-bye.